Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. Welcome to this episode of the Creative Brew. Today we have Claudia Dominguez. She is an aspiring graphic novelist that has a book out, and she'll talk a little bit more about it. But we're here at Panels Common Book and Coffee Bar here in beautiful Oceanside, California. And today, like I said, I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
All right. Hi. So I just published my first graphic novel, and we brought it for More Than Money. And I think one of the questions that you sent me online were about sort of what brought me to publishing this graphic novel.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And so I've been making art my entire life. And I've just been doing a lot of different things.
Okay.
And so I had my undergraduate degree in sculpture, and then I worked on stones for a little while,
Yeah.
and I visited Italy and studied all the things there. And then I have a master's degree in fibers art, so there's a lot of different things that I did.
Yeah.
And throughout this whole time, I always had a sketchbook, and my sketchbook always brought me back to drawing.
Yeah.
And so after I graduated from graduate school and I started working on galleries, I realized I didn't really like that very much. Nobody really looked at your stuff, and there wasn't that big of a public.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be, part of popular culture.
Oh yeah.
So then my father, I guess the book is about my father being kidnapped in Mexico City for money. So that happened.
Wow.
And I decided, I'm just going to write a graphic novel about it. We're just going to figure this out by writing a book, and we'll feel better about it, and it will all be better.
Well, that sounds like a movie there.
Yeah.
Once again, like I said, we'll keep sort of promoting this throughout the interview. But like I said, More Than Money. This is a memoir about true life experience about her dad, and very, very interesting. Even from the pages I was able to skim through. Where can we get this book at?
Right. So you can get it off Amazon. You can just look up More Than Money and Claudia Dominguez.
Okay.
And that's it, basically.
Okay. Well, next question. Looking through this, what inspires you? What do you feel like is your personal art style? I didn't know if there's different. Obviously, you've got your Mexican influences, but is there anything else that that influences you when you're creating?
Definitely Mexican art and Mexican muralists. I just went to Mexico in January, and just seeing all the art, and they have a lot of cartoon political art.
Yeah.
And Mexicans are so irreverent. It's so wonderful. Yeah, and they just don't care about anything. They just do the craziest things, and so that's been a really big influence of mine. The big muralists and Posada and all the people that criticize the government are very, very cool. And I also really love comic artists.
Yeah.
So especially those that are, a little bit off the usual path. If they do things a little differently, I really like them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now, like I said, personally for me, I'm real. I wanted to do this interviews specifically for two things. I definitely wanted to help promote you, but I was interested myself. I'm looking to try to create a graphic novel myself. What was your process as far as going through from? And like I said, it may help with the people that may be watching this. What was your process from the very beginning to the end point as far as publishing this graphic novel?
Right. So I started writing this book, and since it was a memoir and a painful memory for me, I had to really kind of work through those feelings as I went.
Yeah.
And so I decided not to promote it and not to look for a publisher until I was done.
Okay.
Because it was sort of the secret project I did by myself at night, And so I started with a script, a general idea of where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Then I had cards that had specific moments that I wanted to touch.
Okay.
And when I had those cards, I got some feedback.
Yeah.
What did people think of the story? Did it evoke any emotion? What happened?
Yeah.
And a lot of the feedback was, well, I don't really care about the characters. So I had to really flesh those out into, well, the character is me, my father in Mexico, and why would you care about these and what happens to it?
Yeah.
And so I sort of started filling in the blanks. And there were a lot of rounds of drawing, editing, getting feedback.
Okay.
So that's basically it.
All right. And I know you had told me before, what was the timeline from the start very start to the beginning piece, what was your how long did it take for you to?
It took me 2 years to do the writing and the drawing and putting it all together.
Okay.
And then it took a whole other year to publish it.
Yeah.
So once you find the publisher, then they go through their own revisions, they ask for their own specifications, and they have their own timelines. So once it's out of your hands, you just I was so happy to have found a publisher that I just followed whatever instructions they gave me.
Yeah. Now, as far as now, even with trying to promote the book, how do you feel like is there certain ways you feel like are you trying to reach out to more of the audience, or you're trying to really, I guess my biggest question is like how are you doing as far as with promoting the book? Like what things do you feel like is working for you or not working for you?
Right. Before this book, I did really badly at social media, and so self-publishing wasn't really an option for me because I didn't. And it was also this secret project that I hadn't talked about.
Yeah.
So it would have been really difficult to self-publish it.
Yeah.
And I never really understood promotion until I had this book. And a friend of mine, who I call my mentor, Alonso from Little Fish, he told me, just talk to people about what you're excited about your book.
Yeah.
And that really worked. I went to Comic Fest and I talked to everyone that would listen to me about this book that I had. And I had little packets of chapter 1 that I gave to everyone that would listen to me.
Yeah.
And from there, I found my publisher.
Nice.
And he has done a tremendous job promoting it, really.
Yeah.
He's the one that got the interview on the radio, and also there's articles by 3 other people. And so there are other people that are invested in this book, and so they have other social networks and they have other places that they work in.
Oh, wow.
And the biggest my biggest idea of promotion for this book was also graphic novel classes.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a lot of classes that are popping up in universities, and since it's an educational text, because San Diego State University printed it, that would be a really good use of it.
Oh, wow.
Classes, yeah.
Wow. Sounds good. Yeah, and then, like I said, I know Alonzo from Little Fish. They got
He's
great,
fantastic,
great school,
Yeah.
great classes down there.
Yeah.
Um,
And so Amato Comics is a new imprint of San Diego State University, and they're doing some really interesting stuff.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can expect awesome things coming from them.
so with that, how do you pronounce
Amato?
Amato? Is that something that's more specific just towards
Graphic novels.
Okay, just graphic novel.
Yeah.
So anyone can come down there and like if they've got a graphic novel idea or they want to publish it, they can go with.
I think so, and I think
Okay.
he's looking for a sort of Latin American experience. So
Okay.
I think he does have a focus like that, but definitely, he's definitely open to, creators.
Yeah. What would you tell as far as I knew it was another question. As far as any aspiring creators or someone that's wanting to start their graphic novel or comic book, or they have some kind of idea they want to try to publish it, or maybe fearful about it. What advice would you give to anybody that may be watching this or may watch this in the future and happen to see this interview? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that, you need to be brave. More than anything, you need to think of yourself as a farmer. You wake up, you go to work, and you do the best you can.
Yeah.
And you try really hard to make a beautiful thing, and then whatever comes out on the page, accept it. This is what you got, and you just gotta keep moving on.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a graphic novel and a large-scale project is just about showing up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I think it was, I don't remember who writer wrote this, that a book is a collection of a lot of bad things and some really interesting ones.
Yeah.
And so you have to allow yourself to make a lot of mistakes and just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot of editing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of taking frames out, adding some more, and thinking, there's a space here, you need something else there. So
Yeah.
just be flexible and keep going. It's just about showing up. It really is.
Yeah, and that was one I specifically wanted to ask that question because I know recently I've I'll talk to just people that they have certain ideals. They may have an ideal for a show or for a movie or for a book, and for some odd reason or another, they sort of give up on it. They just feel like they may feel like with them they may have a dumb ideal, quote unquote dumb ideal.
All your ideas feel dumb at some point.
Yeah. And so I know there's that fear factor and being courageous
Absolutely.
enough to sort of publish it and go with it. No, do you find yourself now? I know with me, I'm always, even when I look at my work, I do a lot of design work. Even when I go back and look at my work, I feel like okay, there's always things that could be changed. Is that something you feel like with your graphic novel? Do you feel like you just want to make it ship it out and then see how it goes, or do you always go back to it and say, maybe I should have took this frame out, or did something certain things?
I find that to be a trap.
Yeah.
Because you can work something to death. And you don't want to. You can't spend too much time planning, and you can't spend too much time revising. There's a point where the work has to be good enough, and the published book, a finished book, is so much better than a perfect book.
Yeah.
You have to finish it, and you have to move on, and this is where I was at that time, and this is the best I could do at that time.
Yeah.
And I can do differently now, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And there's definitely that element of fear of, why am I even doing this? These are hours and hours you spend on a project, and who knows if you're even going to publish it, if anybody's going to even buy it. Every time somebody sends me a picture of the book at their houses, I just feel like, wow, this actually happened.
Yeah.
It's a great gift to have it out in the world. But when you're making it, you have to make it for you.
Yeah.
I was making this book, and I thought, I'm going to get better at drawing, I'm going to get better at painting, and I'm going to exercise this pain that I have.
Yeah.
And so if nothing else happens, if this flops spectacularly, it will still be okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there has to be that component that you're happy and you're creating, and you're happy and you're making, and if it doesn't work out, you're able to move on emotionally and financially.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not, counting on this book to pay your bills and everything.
Yeah. I know, and I think you definitely hit on a good point, and it's something that I actually, talking with someone else about this is, being able to, especially with creatives or even anybody with any kind of, ideals, is being able to have the platform to express, your ideals, express your feelings. Because I truly feel that, if you don't express those talents or those gifts that you've been given, it can, manifest in other ways. Right. And sometimes it can be worse. If you're not able to, express your art, or express, how you feel in a writing or sketches, or even in the final book. If you allow that, and I think that's something that people get caught up in, is if you just allow it to sort of fester in your head and you don't get those ideals out.
Elizabeth Gilbert says that your creativity is like it's a dog, she says. It's got to chew on something.
Yeah.
So you're either creating something or you're going to destroy something.
Yep.
So get going, create something.
Yep, that's perfect.
And I feel like this is a real magic. This division we've made towards like the artists, the gifted ones that are supposed to make art, and the people that don't. I think that's horrible. The great magic of art is that everybody has a chance to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not about what you make, it's about that moment and that time you spend in that space.
Oh yeah.
Making your whatever it is.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So now, as far as upcoming, promotions, projects. Now, I think you told me we're going to be at the San Diego Comic Fest.
Yeah.
Okay. When is that?
It is San Diego Comic Fest is the next week, the coming weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's a 3-day event, and we'll have a panel there.
Okay.
One of those 3 days.
All right, and you'll be part of the panel.
Absolutely.
With this?
So it'll be me, the publisher, Sam Cannon, who wrote the afterword, and the moderator will be Pamela Jackson, which is a librarian.
Okay.
So William Nericha will be from San Diego State University Press.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So
And
if you're
then,
still if you're just tuning in now, like I said, this is Claudia Dominguez. She is a graphic novelist here in the area. She's got a new book out, More Than Money. This is accounts and memoirs based on her life and with her dad. True life story. Hey, could be your next movie. This is something amazing. So where, as far as getting the book, where can people buy this book, or how can they reach out to you?
Great. We're also having an opening book signing in Little Fish. He's a comics advocate.
Yeah.
It's a Little Fish studio, Friday the 4th of May, and we'll have it will be a great thing to do.
All right.
And we're also having an opening here at Panel's Coffee Shop on the 18th of May.
Nice.
So meet up here.
Nice.
And then you can find it on Amazon, More Than Money and my name, or at San Diego State University Press website.
Nice. Sounds great. Well, like I said, if there's any kind of, I'll leave it to you. Is there any kind of words of wisdom or something? Heck, maybe if even now, what would you tell any younger artist, or what would you tell yourself now? Seeing that you've already made this, what would you tell the Claudia from 5 or 10 years ago, what would you tell her now?
I'm writing another graphic novel, right?
Okay.
And so I'm writing my second one, and I spent a year really putting together the script while I was promoting this and kind of finishing this and just kind of putting it together.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was going to be easier. I really thought I was going to show up to the second novel and I was going to know what was happening, what I was going to do. I was not going to be as afraid, and it was just going to be easier. It's not. It's a lie. It's never easier. It's never just something you can just do. It is always this challenge, and that is why we love it.
Yeah.
And so it's been really interesting to see that no matter how good you get, no matter how much you know, or how much your base of knowledge increases, even if it's just a little bit, like it doesn't get easier. And that's just how it is. You know, so enjoy that struggle. Enjoy what it is you got that you do every day. And that's all you have.
Nice.
You know? So yeah, I would tell myself, just chill. This is just how it is. Yeah.
So do you find yourself more creative and constraints to where, hey, look, you got a deadline in 2 weeks. You got to write. You got to write this. You got to write at least the first chapter. Do you feel like you hyper focus more within that deadline, or do you feel like you just sort of spastic and can't focus? What do you feel like it is for you as far as how you focus?
How do I create?
Yeah.
How do I make myself deadlines all the time.
Okay.
And then sometimes I don't make them. But I do give myself deadlines. I have goals. I am a super organized person. My planner is my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I really want to, schedule my time, and I have fantasies of waking up at like 5 in the morning, and like that doesn't happen.
So you're not a morning bird.
I try to be a morning person, but it doesn't always work out.
Okay.
Yeah. But you have to have deadlines, and you have to be a very disciplined person. Again, you need to be a farmer.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just show up and you do your work, and no matter where it's going or how badly it's going or whatever you feel about it, just keep moving.
Yeah, I like that. I like that concept.
And
That's something I think I'm definitely gonna take from you and
be a farmer.
Start implementing onto. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you got to show up. This stuff doesn't. I know. Even with people that, like I said, I get people that message me or they text me all the time with an idea, or they say, well, I got this ideal. What do you think of it? And I was like, you just got to show. You just got to make it.
You just got to make it.
And I mean, there's nothing. Like I said, I can give you some motivation or insight to it, but eventually it's gonna be you that creates it, and you go from there. Once again, this is More Than Money, a memoir by Claudia Dominguez. You can check her out. She's got some things coming up. She'll be here, would you say on
the 18th of May?
18th of May.
Yeah.
She'll be doing a book signing here, so please come. Please support her. Please support your local creatives and artists in the community. And she'll be at Little Fish, that's down there in San Diego. Great school. I went down there a few times. Got a great group down there. And she'll be at the San Diego Comic Fest, and that'll be next weekend. So please.
And my website is storiesanddrawings.com.
Storiesanddrawings.com. Okay. Be sure to check that out. So once again, like I said, this has been a great interview today, and like I said, we'll hope to bring more. Like I said, great graphic novelist. She's working on her second book right now. So right now, I'll be 2 books behind. But you just gotta be a farmer. I'm gonna start using that. You gotta be a farmer.
You gotta be a farmer.
So once again, this has been another episode with me and Claudia on the Creative Brew. Be creative and stay inspired.